Women in Leadership, brought to you by Heron Code, the management consultancy for what happens next. For more information, you can visit heroncode.com. Dr. Shanila Laiju, welcome to Heron Code's Women in Leadership podcast. How are you?
Thank you, Nimi. Thank you so much for inviting me to the show. I'm doing good and hope the same with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, so far on the podcast, we've had some strong women from all different types of walks of life, all different corners of the world and all different industries. But to have you mainly just at the forefront of the healthcare industry globally as well, you've worked all over the place, is an absolute honor. So thank you so much once again for being here. And we really like to take our listeners on a journey with every guest that we have, and absolutely we're going to be speaking about all that you've achieved in recent times and all throughout your career. But you actually started your career in 1994, is that right, when you decided to go into dentistry?
Yes, I finished my dentistry by 1994. Yeah, so yes, after my school days, I was very passionate about going for dentistry for the reason I had my dental treatment. I had an orthodontic treatment, where you put your wires, and I found that it's very interesting. So, that's what inspired me to go in for dentistry.
And you were born and raised in India?
No, I was born in India, but in Kuwait.
You were raised in Kuwait?
Yes, I did my schooling in Kuwait.
Okay, so wow. So how did that happen? What happened there?
No, my dad was there. So basically, we all shifted to Kuwait when he got a job there. So my school days were all there. And then I went back to India for my college. So I did my dentistry back in India.
Oh, wow. Okay, so where did the passion to go into dentistry come from? Because was there a moment? Was there a push from family? Because also coming from Indian heritage as well, and an Indian background, doctor, dentist, lawyer.
No, we had only those options, to be honest. But as I told you before, the dentistry thing came to me because I did my own treatment when I was so I had a long-term 1-year treatment for my orthodontic, the braces that I put. And I think that's what I got interested. I need to do this, Yes, as you rightly said, the Indian culture then was not like now how it is. So there was a lot of pushback. Why do you want to send, they're going to stay alone in a hostel. So there was a lot of pushbacks from family as to, oh, she's a girl, you should, get her married soon. So these are the type of, it was difficult in the beginning, but my parents were very strong. She wants to pursue that, she goes for it. So I think I had a great family support from my parents. So nothing stopped them from sending me despite all that they heard about. I know because, my grandparents and my grandmother was there. So she was like, how is she going to go live there alone? And, but I think I was pretty determined. And as you rightly said, we didn't have much of an option now. Like how you have now. Because then it was either you're a doctor, you are an engineer, or a lawyer, or the maximum a teacher. So not much options on their career. And I was glad that, I could pursue what I wanted to. So nobody really pushed me into dentistry, even though my dad was like, don't you think it's better to go in for MBBS? You have to put your hand into everyone's mouth. And I was like, well, that's what I want.
No, and that's amazing that at that time you also had parents who backed you no matter what, because a lot of people didn't have that privilege, I would guess, especially coming from that culture. So how was education for you? How was that whole process? Were you living away from your family, or how was that?
Yeah, so I was in a hostel. So I lived in, I went to this place called Mangalore, which is south of India. I was in the Kasturba Medical College, which is known as KMC. Yes, I was away from my parents for 5 years. So it was a 5-year course that I went into. But I think that was one of the best journeys that I've had, where you start meeting new people. Because, when I was in Kuwait, so probably I got a lot more exposure going into and seeing. Of course, it was an Indian culture. Way back there, we had more diverse cultures. But I think those 5 years were one of the best times of my years. I would say that amazing journey, beautiful people that I've met with, beautiful teachers and professors. So I think, yes, initially I did miss my parents and family. But then, the latter part of it, you felt like, do you really want to go on a vacation back home, or do you want to stay back with your friends? So I think that was one of the best 5 years of my life. Yeah.
And the social circles, I guess, you formed there, the network, the professors, how important was that in your journey?
It's very important because, see, these are the people who've guided us. What I am today, probably, that was a stepping stone where, the foundation was laid for me. And I'm so proud that I have a lot of colleagues all over the world who are famous doctors, dentists. So we had we had the MBBS and the dental in the same campus. So we had a lot of common friends. So I'm very proud that, I could network with a lot of people who are in very good positions now. So you have any health problems now, being in the healthcare itself, you have people all around the world where you can reach out to for expertise opinions. So I think I've really built a great relationship, whether it's my professors or with my colleagues as well.
And what was your personality like? Because when I was still at university, I was very, very timid. I could barely speak to anyone, even though I was doing a journalism degree, ironically. But in order to network and in order to make those social circles, you need to have the guts to go up to people, to exchange cards, to exchange contacts. How were you with that?
I think I'm pretty good at that. I'm a very happy-go-lucky person, and I love making friends. I love meeting people. So I think I used to take a lot of the initiatives, So I used to love meeting and making friends. So I think it was very good. Pretty extrovert in nature.
Amazing.
So I think that really helped me.
Amazing. So after your degree, you went back to Kuwait. Is that right?
No, I didn't.
Where did you go?
After that, when you finish your dentistry, then the pressure of marriage comes in.
Oh, no.
Again, as an Indian culture, you reach a certain age and then people are like, oh no, you should get married. You should get married. So that pressure came from family. And I think I didn't have much of an option then. But if it was today, probably I could have said that, you have to wait because I think the times have changed, So then I think I had to literally move into that role of the marriage.
Wow.
So in 93, I finished my course. 93, I finished my course. And I think 6 months later, I got married as well. So the same year.
Wow, interesting. So your parents were like, look, we let you do the degree. Now please just do one thing we're asking.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Everyone was happy in the end, I hope.
Yeah, because, I did try to say that, to work for a while and things. But I guess, I was blessed that at least they told me, okay, I could go for what I wanted to go. So, okay, make them happy as well this side. And pressure from grandmother was, my grandmother was literally like, what, if you don't get married now, you will not have healthy children. You will not. So all those things were there. But yeah, I think I got married. I listened to everybody. I became the good daughter and got married.
We all have that pressure to be the best daughter ever. So you played that role. You changed roles, I guess, essentially. Family orientated, had kids. How was that period for you? Because you were full guns blazing with the degree. You were powerful. You were strong. You knew exactly what you were doing. And then you came into a different role, how did that role change for you?
Well, I think, so I wanted to, of course, practice dentistry because I'd pursued that degree. I'd struggled so much for 5 years. And my husband was pretty supportive in, pursuing the degree. He said, yes, of course, you should work. And, you have really struggled these 5 years. So I started my career. So we both settled back in Kerala, south part of India again. And I worked in one of the private clinics there. So I was there for, I think, 4 years. I worked in India. And then that's when we decided, so being, in the Gulf all my childhood, I've always wanted to come back. I don't think that I could really settle in there completely. So 4 years, so I used to keep brainwashing my husband, who was really not looking forward to moving down here. But I think I got successful in convincing him.
Yeah.
Because I got pregnant. I had my son in 1998. And it was after that, I had a complicated pregnancy, went through a little bit of those high-risk pregnancies and things. So after my son was born, I think 4 months later, that's when we moved into Dubai.
Wow. And I have to say, mentally, that takes a toll on someone, I myself don't have children. I'm in the same position that you were in. Grandmas, uncles, aunties are on me saying, have a baby now, it's time. But that pressure of, the work-life balance comes in, right?
Yes. So Nimi, what I've always wanted children. So I think that's something I wanted to really, looking forward to. But yes, of course, 4 years I did work. I wanted to also make sure that I did establish my career then. So after my son was born, yes, I should tell you I took a break. Actually, I wanted to enjoy that moment as well. So once I came to Dubai, my son, after that, I think my two boys are just 1.5 years apart. So I got my second baby after the 1 year. So I was handful with two children. It's like bringing up twins, and two boys. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So I decided that, I need to take a break, probably just enjoy the motherhood. And, those days you don't come back when they're really small. So I really took a break for 4 years.
Wow.
So that was a long break where I even thought that would I go back to my career? Would I start working? Or, I wasn't really sure what's going to happen, but I said, let me enjoy the moment as it is, enjoy the time with the boys. So after my second son started his school, that's when I decided, I should probably look at. So there was this exam that you had to give over here. So I thought I'll prepare myself for the exam. That's when this opportunity of going into the administration came for me. So this is when the Aster Healthcare. So they approached me, and then they were like, why don't we just look into the administration if you're not looking into. So this was like something new to me, and I was excited to venture into something that was not my field, but again, healthcare. So being on that side of it, so I said, okay, let me just look into that and see. So I joined as a clinic supervisor in one of the Aster clinics way back in 2003. So that was another exciting journey because you've pursued dentistry and then you feel like, so mainly because of the children, I thought that maybe let me, I probably would have a little bit more flexibility, not committed to the clinic hours and things. So that's when I thought, let me venture out into this and see. But yes, I must say, I started my journey there, and that was one of the best decisions I think I have made.
Wow. And to transform like that, yes, being in the same industry in healthcare, but to essentially transform your role, you're constantly learning, right? Did you ever feel, because I would feel worried, I had this fear or, that I wouldn't be adequate enough and be knowledged enough in that room, that other people have been in that maybe administration for years. Did you feel that?
Yeah, it was, of course, I was very nervous in the beginning. What am I getting myself into? Can I do this role? Would I be able to, live up to the expectation because they've given me this opportunity? But then again, as I said, no, I always loved challenges. And then I thought that why not look into this and see what it is for me, But the more I got into it, then of course, as I knew that I was going to pursue this, I started learning a lot on online courses. Then I finally did my MBA in healthcare management as well after 2 years. Wow. So when I was very sure that I was going in this direction, I thought that probably I need to really, upgrade myself. So I did a 2 years MBA and specialized in healthcare management. So yes, as much as it was a very different journey for me, and it was very exciting, nervous, it was mixed feeling. But I think I started enjoying the work, and then I was like, so I had to make a decision whether do I need to continue this or do I need to go back to dentistry. But I think the way things happened for me there in the beginning, it was pretty exciting, and I thought that this is something which I'd like to venture into more and see. And I don't regret my decision.
Wow, well, you're sitting here today. We love that. Now, you have such a focus on internal culture throughout your career. It is something that you are so passionate about as well with the people that you are working with. What does internal culture mean to you with the people that you are working alongside, your peers or people that you are managing?
See, these are very important people that you deal with, and you spend a lot of your time, so I think this is like a home away from home, your workplace. This is what I call, and this is what a culture that I've always created wherever I've been working or being promoted to hospitals. I've ensured that there is this family culture that's built in. People should have, the trust built. That's one thing which I always feel that, transparency and trust is something which is very important. And once you've developed that and your colleagues trust you, I think the rest of the journey is very easy. It is just to get that trust of the people that, you are there and you are a family. Things may come, things may go, it can be ups and downs. But at the end of the day, we all stand together. And I think that was what I have, probably learned that throughout from my childhood. I have been always a team player, so this helped me actually to build that culture of oneness and a family atmosphere. And I carry that throughout till now. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm sure if we speak to any of your team, they would vouch for it. One thing, especially during the pandemic, that people kind of lost within themselves was value of self. So many people's jobs, got taken away from them. They felt like, oh, I'm so replaceable. How important is it, although we are incredibly ambitious, completely driven to be who we want to be, to not make that end goal completely the be all and end all, that to somehow detach yourself away from it's so hard because your work is so emotional and you love your job, but how do we essentially detach ourselves from it to not take everything so personally as well?
Well, I think you have to detach yourself at a point, otherwise you get burnt out. So at one time, when I just began, I think I was like a bit of a perfectionist. So it was very difficult to let go. Ultimately, I used to feel that, if I don't do or if I don't get involved in this, it's not going to be the right thing, or they may just mess it up. But over the years, I've learned that if you don't really delegate and give authority to people, you're just going to burn out yourself. You're just going to stress yourself. And so I think to have that bit of a space for yourself, it's very important how you start trusting your people and you delegate with authority. And that's what I think I have started doing that, because I think that was one of the negative things that I had found in myself. And I used to live with that for a couple of years, where I used to get involved in most of the things, and that trust element was lost. And then I thought, no, I cannot. I mean, I need to also have my space. I need to detach things. I need to start trusting people. They may make mistakes, but you have to give them opportunities to learn. And I think that's what I started doing. And ultimately, I found a lot of inner peace in myself once I started doing that.
Which in turn helps you do your job a bit easier.
Very much, because see, again, you have to spend time. You need to spend time with the work, and as well as yourself and the family. So until and unless you detach yourself and you're going to carry all this back to your home, it's just going to not work at all, because you're going to be stressed at work, stressed at home. You're just going to lose your peace of mind. But I think that detaching myself and empowering my people really helped me to give space for myself and to give a better feel for the people as well, that they are empowered,
Absolutely. So, okay, so where we are was you had moved to administration, and since then you have gone leaps and bounds. I mean, you really worked your way up the ranks. Can you talk us through that? Because, I mean, it sounds so easy now, worked her way up the ranks, but I imagine it wasn't.
Yeah, it was, it was a very exciting journey and a lot of learning in every step that I took. So I told you I started with a small clinic. It was in Kurama, in Aster. So they were not even branded Aster then. Yeah, so I was one of the lucky ones who've gone through the transformation journey of small clinics, gone into a whole branding and now into a corporate culture. So very lucky few ones who went through that, each and every bit of that branding exercise. So I think I cherished that journey, which I started in 2003, and then 2006 I moved to the Aster Hospital, which was then a very small 15-bedded, mostly maternity and surgical hospital. 2006 I started with them, and then of course again from a clinic to a hospital. That's when I decided I need to do my MBA in hospital management, because I was going this way and I had fully decided this is where I'm going to go. No going back to dentistry anymore. I will start looking and interviewing dentists for this position.
Wow, the irony.
Yeah, rather than do it myself. So so I did my MBA, and then I was in the hospital, Aster Hospital, for 3 years. So the thing is, the hospital had just started. It was a 6-month hospital, and it started doing really well. We started adding more doctors. So that's when he told me that you've done well here. I think it's time for you to move on. And as I told you, the family atmosphere that I created, so every time I was told for a promotion, rather than being happy, the first instinct was, oh my God, I'm going to leave these people behind. So that was something, because I get emotionally attached very soon. So, and I was like, oh, I don't think I'm ready for this. And, I was trying every way to stay back in that place, because I didn't want to miss those people. But I guess, you need to take a step forward if you want to grow in your career. And so when I was in the hospital also, this challenge was given to me that, let's see what you do in 6 months, and we're going to reward you if you turn this place because there are a lot of challenges. And I told you, I love challenges. And I was like, so what I first did was build the team. Again, I told you, that's what I always feel. I mean, you cannot do anything if you don't have the right team behind you. And so I started building that team, the trust, and, that again, that same thing what I'd created in the clinic. So I started doing it in the hospital. And less than 6 months, we did achieve more than what was given to us. And that was like a great achievement, where we were all rewarded. And I think that's when the team really got charged up and we were like, we need to do more. So for 2 years, we did so well that we needed to expand. And then I kept talking about the expansion that we need to have for a hospital because we need bigger space and things. So that's when we have the MedCare Hospital, the multi-speciality hospital, which came up in Dubai in 2007. So again, there was, we were very conservative because at that time, or way back in 2007, not many private hospitals were there in Dubai. It was mostly the government sectors. So we were like, do we start? But our chairman is, as always, a visionary leader. He was like, no, we need to venture into new areas and see how it is. And we were very lucky to start in a very niche area in Jumeirah. And so we started this multi-speciality hospital. So I was back then, again, I was not still a part of MedCare then. So when it was being built and things, because I was in the Aster Hospital.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so 2007 March, we started this hospital, and again, multi-speciality. So everybody was like, wow, this is a big hospital, new hospital. MedCare became a talk of the town then because like one of the few first private hospitals. And 2007 October, again, I got this, why don't you move to a multi-speciality hospital? You've been doing well. Now there's no space here. We need to really rebuild a hospital. And things can be taken care by people who are there. Now we probably need you there. And as always, I told you, I don't know whether it excites me or it makes me emotional when a promotion comes to me because, again, I get so attached to the people and they also get attached and it's very difficult. But yeah, of course, I was within the same group. So that was one thing that was a blessing, that I was moving from one place to the other in the same family. So I declined the offer first and I told them that, no, I think I need to stay back and I need to. And I think for 4 or 5 months, I didn't hear from them. I was like, okay, fine. I think, they've probably convinced that I need to be staying there. And then finally, again, one day I got the call that, so where are you moving? We're waiting for you to give us a date, So, but again, I was like a little excited because, again, a new 75-bedded hospital. And unlike Aster, where we had more on the Indian culture, Indian people, this was more of a multi-speciality hospital with a diverse culture. So I thought maybe venturing into that area is also good. And a multi-speciality, as I told you, the other one was a maternity and a surgical hospital. I thought there was be a lot of learnings. Again, with a heavy heart, I said yes, and I moved on. And 2008, I joined in MedCare Hospital as a hospital administrator.
And during these promotions, though, I would love to know, do you take a moment just to yourself to acknowledge how far you've come as well? Because it's so easy for us to just skip over, we all rush through life and are quickly on to the next thing. For you, did you do that?
Nimi, I had sleepless nights. When any promotion came to me, I think for a couple of days I could not sleep because I was actually nervous, confused, happy. So there was a lot of mixed feelings like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right decision? And so it was not easy, But yes, every time that I went and I saw that this is what it is, yes, you feel proud of yourself, yes. And you feel proud of the fact that, you were given an opportunity because you've done a good job. So that makes you feel, you've accomplished something.
Absolutely, and valued within the company and within the family, as you say. And being a woman in leadership there within these companies, managing all these people, how was that for you? Because I mean, I don't know much about the healthcare industry. You would definitely be able to tell me more. What is the culture there when it comes to gender equality?
So when I joined, initially I don't think there was much of this, I'm reporting to a lady boss and it's going to be difficult. And so initially I didn't have, but when I came to MedCare, I did face challenge because it was like, people were like, okay, what is she going to do? I mean, we had a CEO, we had people in the higher management and things. And when you start sometimes making some decisions, and then you feel that people are not really happy with this, and you really need to push your way. So initially, I did have a struggle when I like joined Medcare Hospital. But again, I said, it's just how people learn to trust you, how you build that within them. So people had already settled 1 year within the hospital, and then somebody coming in new. And as a hospital administrator, I was also given the HR responsibilities. So that makes you more empowered to make a lot of decisions. So when even I had to terminate a couple of staff because you just felt that they were not doing the right job. And so I still remember when I did the first termination after that, when I came, everybody's, oh my God, this lady is like, she's here to throw all of us out. So it was challenging. I must say the first 6 months that I was in Medcare was a lot of challenges. And to the extent that sometimes I used to go back home and cry. I mean, did I really make the right decision? Do people really want me there? I mean, I felt like I was just not need. I mean, people just didn't welcome me there. So initial stages was really not the best of the times, I would say. But yes, as I told you, I thought that, what, I need to really do something to get these people trust me and make sure that they all say the reverse of what they think now. So I started working personally with my colleagues one-on-one and trying to, build that relationship. And honestly, after a couple of months, I think everybody came back to me saying that, what, we thought you were really an arrogant lady who's come here to just, boss around us, but we feel so comfortable. So I think that was what I would call my success, where, I could really get to bind people together. And I get very emotional when I say that as well, because, getting all the people who literally thought that, I had come there to destroy their peace of mind, to throw these people out, were my best friends then.
It's interesting because for the people that are being managed, we forget that the manager is a human being as well. Yes. And we all have the same goal. We all want to succeed. Let's do it together rather than against each other, right?
Yes, exactly. So even the CEO there, he told me that, so he also used to be very cold, very cold when I go in. And then when we are still the best of friends. I mean, he's left us and gone, but still, I would say he's one of very close friend, dear friend. So he was also telling me that, we really thought that, you were not the person who could gel along with us, but so glad that you came here. And so that transformation I made in that place really gave me a lot of excitement, because we had like around 27, 28 nationalities then. So it wasn't easy because, people come from different culture. It's so difficult to convince people about things. But I think, again, I was very successful in building a great team. And I think that success story started there, and we're still continuing that. Yeah.
What's interesting is, as a woman stepping into a field like that, into an office with people who are feeling that way towards you, were you conscious of your persona and the energy you were giving across? Because I feel as women, we have to adjust who we really are in order to cater to the people around us. Were you conscious of that?
Yes, initially I was conscious, Nimi. I was very conscious. Like, everything that I told or I did, I should think twice on how people would think. What would they think about, But I think, yes, after some time I decided, like, it really doesn't matter what they think. I need to make sure that I'm making the right decision. I follow what my gut says. And that's one thing I learned, because you cannot please everybody. You cannot make the right decisions all the times. But again, what I decided was, what do I feel is right? So what is my gut feeling about this? So let me listen to that. I mean, I do listen to what people have to say, but let me not go with that, but probably a combination of the both, and see what is the ideal thing that I need to make a decision. Yes, it is not very easy in the beginning to do that, because as women, we always feel, you just step back and say that, okay, maybe this is not the best way to do things, But I think this is what I would say, that you should always believe in yourself. This is my quote that I always quote to my, my employees when they join, and things that believing in yourself is something that I learned then, because wherever I used to shy away, I used to go back home. I used to just recreate the whole day and see, okay, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? So every day before going to bed, I used to analyze myself on the whole day, because then understood, where did I go wrong? Or why didn't I take this decision? Why did I shy back from that? I should have just done that. So when I started getting these doubts, I thought, no, I need to be more stern in my decision making about myself, what I think, not for. And I think I started training myself on that. I started training my mind because I think it's all in the mind. And once you start training your mind on that, I started taking bold decisions, which probably I wouldn't have taken in the initial days. I was like, let me see what happens. It's not the end of the world. And I think those bold decisions made some good impacts on the business and things. So I would
You
say.
think absolutely they did. So you were basically doing like a self-analysis at the
Yeah.
end of the day to kind of summarize.
So, what I'll tell you when I learned the self analysis is when I was a child, my dad used to always keep telling us, me and my sister, that before you go to bed, at the end of the day, you need to see what all you did in your day. And he used to say that if you did anything wrong, you need to say sorry and ask God for forgiveness. You should see if you've hurt anybody. You should go say sorry to the other person. So we were taught that from childhood. So this is the analysis that I used to keep doing for myself every now and then when I was in college, even till today. And I teach that to my kids as well. It's important that you analyze what you have done and how do you correct it and how do you rectify it. It makes a lot of difference in your life.
Personally and professionally,
Yes,
right?
both.
Very helpful. So you're at MedCare and you have established your team now. They're on your side. They see you truly for who you are in a very positive light. What happens then? What are the big achievements now that you are striving towards and that you have goals in mind and you have now achieved? Talk us through that journey.
Yeah, so I think I've been in the group for 19 years now.
Wow.
It was a beautiful journey. So I'm proud that, now I am the group CEO for the MedCare hospitals and clinics. So as I said, we have 4 hospitals, we have 18 clinics. So we've grown a long way and still growing and want to expand beyond the UAE. So, how do we go about? Again, as I told you, you have the right people in the right place. I think you can dream big. That's what I say. And that's what we're doing now. We are dreaming really big how to be the best healthcare provider, not only in the UAE, but across the world. So this is something which we are taking up. We're looking at expanding our hospitals. We are looking at expanding, again, going into the probably internationally and seeing how we can do it. And also concepts of how do you move from illness to wellness. So we are venturing into a lot of new ideas across the area. So again, as I told, what I have done is delegation with authority, and then I have a strong team now that who believe that they do a great job, and I think that's one of the most important things. I have CEOs in most of the hospitals where they take their decisions, where they independently. What I believe is always that I open up ideas and I wait for feedbacks. So it's not that I decide and they follow. I don't believe in that. I mean, as a leader, I think it's very important that you collectively make decisions with your team, because you never know who has the best idea. So we also have something called all your ideas matter. So we have a box where people can put in. Now it's gone online. Of course, they can log in online and put in any ideas, and you will not believe that sometimes idea comes from a housekeeping staff as well. Wow. So some things like, which you never, because on a World Heart Day, so this was one of the technicians who gave us an idea, why don't we switch off all the elevators and people should take the stairs? Imagine, I mean, it's such a nice idea for a World Heart Day. I mean, so small things. So I think that's what I've been doing. Listening to my people and getting more ideas and seeing how we can work on it together. And yes, basically looking at more expansion plans in the UAE. We are looking at a 100-bed hospital coming up soon. I mean, of course, it will take time. It's a greenfield project. But how to expand into probably the London market and the other GCC countries as for now. Yeah.
I have no doubt those would be achieved at all. Tell me more about your Women in Leadership program, because I'm so fascinated by that. Was that at MedCare?
So it was an Aster Dm Healthcare. So across the group, we had this program called Tehseen, where we wanted to empower our women staff, and majority of our staff being in healthcare are on the nursing category. So you have a lot of this nursing category. So our chairman is very passionate about the fact that, a nurse should not be deprived of a position that they cannot come up in the management. you should give them opportunities. So a nurse cannot retire as a nurse. She can be a nursing officer, even to the extent a CEO of the hospital, you know. So we started this program wanting to empower the women in our group into different positions. So we started this program, and then we had mentors. So we had these people register for the program, whoever were interested to join this, and then we kept a mentor for each one of them who they could shadow. And I think that was a very beautiful journey that we had, where they used to literally, I had people who used to come sit with me during my work hours, see how I used to work, and, again, take feedback from them. So this program we had continued, we had a lot of projects assigned for them, and we identified, I think, around 50 to 60 people in the organization who were leaders over here. And from then we identified who were those who could get promoted to other levels. And we have a lot of those in the managerial positions and senior manager positions. Then we had identified and still successfully running the show for us. Wow. Yeah. So I think it is because most of the time, what I would say is people are reluctant to take the first step. So once that first step is taken, and then that, that they feel their confidence, I think then the journey becomes easy. And there is where a mentor will help you. So that's why I felt that, we felt every person should be given a mentor, because to guide them as and when required, not just leave them alone and just, So that really helped mold them, because every time they knew that they could go to their mentor, they could always reach out to somebody who could give them a real-time advice, So that's what we got the feedback also, that, that mentoring really helped. And they used to see, as role models, and they want to make sure that, okay, one day I want to reach this position. One day I want to be somebody like one of you all. And that aspiration, I think, really, we saw that, so much of that positivity in those ladies and girls that we had taken. And we're very proud they're still with us in very high roles now also.
So since you started in healthcare, I guess the dentistry aside, but when you started in administration, have you seen a transformation to now? We're talking, you said 19 years since you started in administration. 19 years. Have you seen a transformation of women in exec positions?
Very much, Nimi, very much. From when I started to where we are now. Of course, we are blessed having a leader in a female role, because we are, our managing director is a female. And that itself is a very proud thing for us, So she also, really looks at, how do you have more employees as females in the senior executive role. So we do have in the board members, like, in the senior leadership role, we have a lot of females in the roles. And I think, yes, because now people have become more aware. Unlike before, I would say ladies were shy to come into this position. They all, as I told you, we as women doubt ourselves. We don't feel that we probably are not ready. But I think that's something you underestimate yourself. And that's what I keep telling everybody. Don't, there is nothing as a gender that should stop you from doing what you want to do. In some jobs, yes, there are physical restrictions, but still I say, did anybody try it out? Is it really impossible, or can we really do it? So I don't think there's anything that can stop you because of your gender from doing any sort of a job. And I think that's the thing that I was like, there was a huge transformation in our company as well, where we see women leadership coming up, and there's a lot of women in senior positions taking decisions, and people are accepting it. Unlike probably before, people were reluctant to report to a lady boss. Oh, I need to report to a lady. The male ego comes in, So I think that is slowly going by, and people are accepting the fact that, there is a gender equality. There is nothing like, you're a female, you're a male. And I see that huge transformation in the last 2-3 years, where people are looking at hiring ladies more. And my favorite is Jack Ma, the owner of Alibaba. So he was asked, why do you have more women in your company? So, he has almost more than 70% or something women in his company. And he was like, I have more women because I feel that they look after others more than themselves. That's how God has created them. And I feel that if I have more women in my company, they take care of my company like nobody else can do. So this actually inspired me, like, it's so true. We have been naturally gifted by God to take care of our houses, our children. And I think we show that same passion while taking care of it. It's your company and home. I think we don't show a difference. We work, I say always, we work with our brain and heart. just not just the brain alone. And that sets us apart, I guess.
That is absolutely beautiful. And I would love to end the episode with that note, because everything that you've shared today has just been so beneficial, not just to me. I feel like I'm just here alone with you, but to everyone listening, I'm sure. So Dr. Shanila, thank you so much for making time to be with us here today. And we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Timmy. It was really a pleasure to have me here with you.
Thank you. Women in Leadership, brought to you by Heron Code, the management consultancy for what happens next. For more information, you can visit heroncode.com.